We are live.
Offering 24-hour smog test, oil changes, detailing, bodywork, engine and transmission rebuild. And ZipZap provides free towing and diagnostics with qualifying repairs.
Wow, these are my Astrum headsets. This is special right here. We got a 20% off for anybody who wants to get these headsets, which are spectacular, at astrumtech.com. You put JT into the code and you get 20% off. Wow, long weekend, man. I had the family say goodbye. Mom and Dad went home. What else? What else did I do? The Raiders Gala with Stevie Wonder, which is unbelievable. And then Coaches vs. Cancer last night, which was pretty spectacular. All right, Bobby, let's lead with some rant stuff. Let's see if there's any Raider news out there. Dirty secret, there isn't a lot of news, so we kind of pivot. We don't talk as much Raiders if there isn't a lot of Raider news. Kind of tough to talk about something when nothing's happening, but we'll do it. Let me look at my Raiders clips for today. No more Vic Tafur. He's covering the Niners. And I don't have my Vic articles anymore, even though I continue to follow Vic because he's a good follow. Shout out to Vic Tafur. Knicks advanced. Bobby, have I seen you since the Knicks advanced? Let's make sure we get Vinny on Wednesday.
Derek England was an official visa of the Las Vegas
Yes.
And the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste. Brewed with fighting spirit since 1925. Sound off. Join JT the Brick.
Little coffee. No, it's not iced.
You're listening to the JT the Brick Show, where the Raider Nation has come to sound off and react for over 20 years.
Is this plugged in? Yes.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Vinny Cadillac Performance Studio.
Bring a blitz. He takes it off the middle, and he's wrapped up from behind. Max Crosby.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 20 years.
Open at the 35, racing to the 20, 10, touchdown Raiders.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT in studio today with Bobby as we are rolling live on YouTube. The stream is up. I'm wearing camo today. A Simon Keith camouflage hat and a Raiders camo from last year. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I had an amazing weekend. Mom and Dad left. They headed back to New Paltz, New York. So they go on their summer stay from Florida back to a little bit in upstate New York with my sisters. And we got them to have a great trip. They had a magnificent trip out here. It was a good weekend. We kicked off Coaches vs. Cancer last night. Had a chance to MC what they're saying. Bobby, no pat on the back from me to myself. That would be egregious. But, man, JT the Brick, the speed MC, that might have been my greatest performance. I was done with the program in 38 minutes. Look, I'm not a comedian. I don't tap dance. I don't sing other than when I'm at a wedding and I'm lightly intoxicated. But I rocked through that program last night. 38 minutes. We started. Everybody at the pool had a great time. The Nomad pool at the Park MGM was great last night. Fantastic. Lon Kruger, Coaches vs. Cancer. And we had the Raiders Gala on Saturday night for those who were there. Got a chance to watch a Stevie Wonder concert on Mark Davis's birthday party. Mark turned 70. Happy birthday to our owner and my dear friend Mark Davis, who turned 70 yesterday. And, man, Stevie Wonder sang happy birthday to him. Let him sit next to him as he performed. Man, that was cool. Had a great time. Saw Q Myers, a couple people, our bosses here at Lotus, and those who were able to attend. I'll tell more of those stories next hour, Bobby. The consultants love when you tell stories. I have a clock in my head. Whenever I start talking about me, it goes tick, 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 stop. Talk sports. And we will talk sports, but a dirty little secret. There ain't much to talk about this time of year. So Bobby and I get in the lab and we produce summertime radio because I'm not going to talk about backup cornerbacks because I don't want to talk about backup cornerbacks. I want to talk about star players the coach, the GM, who's going to play? That's a big topic. Again, you can think you're going to play and you end up on the practice squad, which is great. Going to be a different practice squad with this team. I will guarantee, as Charles Barkley likes to say, this will be the greatest practice squad team that the Raiders have had in 30 years. I'm dead serious. I think because of Pete Carroll, this will be the greatest practice squad team they've had in 30 years because of the fight to get on this roster and who's going to get on the practice squad, the undrafted free agents, the players who are invited back. I'm telling you, it's going to be really aggressive competition as we get going there. So we're excited. There's a lot going on. I'll tell more of the stories coming up next hour. We're brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue. They have a great happy hour, 5 to 7, midnight to 2. It is the best happy hour in town. EDC. Oh, EDC, not my thing, but a lot of people went. I went to the Park MGM in Park last night and walked into the hotel. Oh, boy. The outfits that I saw walking to the elevator. See, I know M-Ride, one of our partners, got everybody there safely and back. Go to M-Ride. M-Ride if you need rides to the games or anywhere else. But, Bobby, I guess is there anything you can't wear at EDC? Like, I know you can't go naked. There's got to be some type of rule there. But there were people that looked like they were in the lobby of Park MGM heading out there. It's a long ride. A lot of people like to take a helicopter in. They'll pay for the helicopter to get them out there or a limo or whatever it is. But the fireworks show at EDC, I went and saw that online by Las Vegas Events. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The fireworks show they do out there for EDC, some of the best in the world. Incredible there. So if you went to that, you're probably not listening to me if you went to EDC. Yeah, I'm probably not in your demographic, or you might be listening, but you'll podcast the show tomorrow because you're sleeping in for all of that. In regards to the Raiders, brief monologue. I'm going to get mostly to the NBA. By this time of day, you should know what you want to talk about. Anything from baseball, basketball, football, hockey. You should start dialing and be the first to come in. Not every day Chris in West Oakland can be my leadoff hitter. We're going to do something coming up for the leadoff hitters, the people that start the show and have more energy and they're ready to go. Because it feels like I have to drag people into this show for 20 minutes. The show started 6 minutes ago. Take advantage of it at 702-365-9200. Vinny Bonsignor, I got my Raiders clips earlier today on a couple of the storylines that I wanted to read. And I thought Vinny made an interesting point in his mailbag about the possibility of getting Jalen Ramsey, the great star cornerback who's available in a trade. And I've been thinking about this a while. Can you go get him? Sure you can. But this would be his third team he's playing on, and he's turning 31. All right, so how much does he have left in the tank? I don't know. So Vinny said, and they talked about this, and someone asked a question about Jalen Ramsey, a 7-time Pro Bowl corner who is available. But he's already been traded. His third team, the Dolphins, is eager to move on from him. Ramsey also will turn 31 in October, has dealt with a knee injury, and is due a lot of money. Any club that trades for him will be on the hook for $21 million in cash this season. That's a steep price for a player, and especially for a team that's only won 4 games. 4 games. Now, if this team was close, do you remember when the Raiders were close? 20 years ago, and they brought in a guy named Rod Woodson. Remember that guy? One of the top 25 players ever. But the Raiders were very close. They lost the tuck rule, right? They end up going to the Super Bowl, and they added veterans, and Al Davis wanted to win. And for those who were concerned that Mr. Davis at the end of his life was losing his fastball, no, Mr. Davis wanted to win. He took more chances at the end. He put together a veteran team, and the Raiders should have won at least 1 to 2 Super Bowls. One was stolen in the tuck rule. And then Barrett Robbins going to Mexico before the Super Bowl blew up everything in that Super Bowl. Barrett Robbins, if he's 100% mentally stable, and we wish him well, if he's 100% mentally stable, all pro, not a Pro Bowler, all pro with Rich Gannon. Rich doesn't throw 5 picks. I think the Raiders win the game. I really do. But John Gruden knew all the plays. And for whatever reason, our coach at the time, Bill Callahan, didn't change the plays that John Gruden knew. And the other team was barking out our plays when we were in the huddle. Wow. Man, would you like to go back into the hot tub time machine and get that day back and switch it up here a little bit? But I digress. Also in Vinny's mailbag, he said, which one of the two Raider young linebackers will step up this year to see the field? Amari Gaynor, Tommy Eichenberg. All right, let's see you play. Those are two examples of guys that have came here, highly touted to do well, and they don't play. Are they going to play this year? I don't know. This is a new regime. These are old regime guys, but pretty good. Amari Gaynor and Tommy Eichenberg. So here's the deal simply. Tommy Eichenberg was a star at Ohio State. He wasn't good. He was a star. Okay, there's a lot of players. Cleveland Ferrell was a star at Clemson. We took him 4th overall. If you look at some of the other players that are here that were drafted by other regimes, if they're here for a reason. They are. And I think a lot of players are here because they were recently drafted, so they're salary cap protected. And the new regime, John Spytek and Pete Carroll said, yeah, let's give these guys a shot. They're not our guys, but now we're Raiders. Let's see if we can get them going. And we'll see what happens. But the ability to make this team now is going to be very, very difficult because we know who the starters are. I can name them frontwards and backwards. We know who's going to start. All right, there is some depth at the running back position. I mean, come on. We have Raheem Mostert as our backup. The guy led the NFL in touchdowns the entire league a couple of years ago. And he's a depth player. And we got Zamir White, who might have just had a slump last year because the offensive line didn't block for him. And he was maybe a little bit too big or whatever. I don't know. I'm willing to give him a reset, but he ain't going to get on the field with Ashton Genty playing. And then wide receiver, Vinny wrote about Jack Bash. Oh, my God, everybody's talking about him at the rookie symposium. He's going to start. All right, so Bash out of TCU is an elite prospect. So was Brock Bowers. How'd that work out? Jacoby Myers was not an elite prospect. He turned into one of the best receivers in football as a number 2 who sometimes plays like a number 1. Can you imagine if we break the huddle, we the Raider Nation, on the opening night? So our opening game in Allegiant Stadium is Monday Night Football. How cool is that? We break the huddle because the ball, no one kicks anymore. The ball goes out the end zone. Or they're going to tell us this year that they're going to kick it into the bull crap landing zone, and there's going to be bigger returns than ever. No, there's not. It was a scam by the league, and the league tried to kick it out of the end zone for 3 years. Then they came up with this XFL rule where we're going to lightly kick it in a landing spot. Everybody's in a phone booth because we don't want anybody to have a concussion. No one's allowed to tackle on special teams anymore. So we're just going to catch it and get 1 yard because everybody's on top of each other. What a scam that is. Now, maybe this team will do better at that. We're going to break the huddle on the 25 or the 30. I can't keep track where you get the ball anymore. Do you get it at the 25? Do you get it at the 30? I can't even keep track, and I do this for a living. We're going to break the huddle, and the huddle is going to come out, and it's going to be unbelievable. I mean, Jack Besh is going to be out there, I believe, as a starter with Brock Bowers. I'm going to throw Big Michael Mayer in there as a starter. And then you're going to have Jacoby Myers. Then you're going to have maybe Trey Tucker. And you have Ashton Genty. Oh, my God, and Geno Smith. Geno's going to come to the line of scrimmage. Hopefully we'll do what I say, run the plays that you ran in Henderson. The other regimes didn't do that. Okay, so we got a new offensive coordinator, Norv Turner's son. Okay, Norv's in there. Norv's a legend. Josh McDaniels is an elite offensive mind. He's the head coach, and we don't know what play we're running. Oh, now I can talk about it. I mean, we don't know what we're running? What the hell we do in Henderson all week? Run the plays that you ran in Henderson and run it until you get it right. Now I'm confident, and I think Antonio Pierce did a nice job here. Really did, but he wasn't an offensive coordinator. We had a revolving door of offensive coordinators and consultants, air quotes, hanging up in the booth, giving their opinions on what to do. We couldn't do anything. We took too long in the huddle. We snapped the ball with under 2 seconds every play. So the defensive line, the edge rushers are laughing. They're looking at the clock going 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, I'll guess right now and get off the line. We didn't block anybody last year. We didn't block anybody last year. That's all changed. We brought in depth on the offensive line, big, mauling guys. And if they're good enough to start, they will. With Kappa coming in, who's had a good career, maybe this is a rebirth. Dylan Parham, like him here at Thayer Mumford, guys I've known, gotten to know. Jackson Powers Johnson, how about our download with him? Man, that was big. Go back and listen to that if you didn't see it. I think the offensive line under Pete Carroll's son will block better. Lincoln Kennedy told me on the draft when we went over, the schedule release, he doesn't know. He's Lincoln Kennedy. He doesn't know if it'll be direct blocking or zone blocking. I don't know either. They'll let us know when they want to let us know. And the team is going to be more physical. They're going to be more battle tested. They're going to have different practices in regards to the heat, their time off, how hard it will be, and all that's going to go down. And it's got to be better than a team that lost 10 in a row last year. Got to be. And I hope Pete Carroll, who I saw, he was in a tux looking fabulous with his wife, front row. He stood front row next to my wife and Dana Wagner, our newsman, and Kim Wagner, Wake Up with the Wagners. And Pete in a tux watching Stevie Wonder perform was a highlight of my weekend, a big highlight of the weekend. You got DJ Turner. When you look at Wilkins coming in on the defensive line, when you look at players that are now going to have to play under Pete Carroll, I don't know what to tell you about Christian Wilkins, a defensive tackle. He was a star in Miami. He came here, got hurt. So we don't know how good he is at all. We have no idea. And he's playing under Pete Carroll now. So he's being evaluated every day. Hopefully he has a big year. So with all of that being said, we are very optimistic heading into summertime radio. We're putting together a big summer topic that will take us through about 2 or 3 weeks, heading up until training camp, and then we'll dive into training camp, Raiders OTAs, as the players are ready to get to work. I'm in a great place. Hope you are too. And every day you listen, we greatly appreciate it. I'm off tomorrow. Harry Ruiz will be in for me as I'm playing Shadow Creek. For those who know. I'm sorry. I get paid very nicely to sit here, but I don't get paid as nicely as what it costs to play Shadow Creek for free. So I'm going to go get some Coaches vs. Cancer love tomorrow and play Shadow Creek with Lon Kruger and have a great day out there tomorrow. Harry will be back, and we got big shows the rest of the week. Jeff Motley, friend of the show, will join us at 12:45. There is a big basketball announcement in town. Wow, it was a monster today. The Hall of Fame, Las Vegas, the series to Las Vegas, opening night, November 3rd at T-Mobile Arena. The national champion Florida Gators, who I met their coach last night, we're going to play Arizona, BYU, Villanova in the marquee doubleheader. They're coming to us first to announce it here on radio. We'll do that. And then Albert Hall from Hall Pass Media on NBA Summer League. He's the guy, and the tickets are kicking off for that, and we want to get everybody going with that. So hopefully your weekend was good. People are using profanity on the chat to describe Juan Soto. My Yankees took 2 out of 3. My Knicks are in. Oh, my God, I forgot the biggest topic. My Knicks, my number one passion in sports, my Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Finals. Ooh, Bobby, we're celebrating like we won the title. I don't like that. I don't like when you close down all of Manhattan, 7th Avenue, and act like you won the championship when you didn't. But that's coming in. Toronto, the Maple Leafs choked again. That is a tradition unlike any other. So there's tons of – and Scottie Scheffler won the PGA by a lot. Wow. Scottie Scheffler, incredible at Quail Hollow. I'll get to all that. Kelvin in San Francisco, you were first. Start us off. Appreciate you.
Hey, thanks, JT, for the call. Just really quick on the Raiders. I'm super pumped for the preseason as well with all our draft picks. I can't wait to watch guys like Cam Miller get out on the field and compete for spots. Just to mix it up today, I think you just said you'll get to it. You mentioned the PGA Championships. I'd love to hear your thoughts on. I think it's going to be a really big story, and it's getting kind of pushed to the side right now on Rory McIlroy potentially using a non-conforming driver to win the Masters. Not sure if you've been following much of that, but he dodged four days of interviews, press conferences at Quail Hollow. And, just curious your thoughts on that, and thanks for the time.
Yeah,
for the show.
You mentioned Rory, right, because he cut out for a second there, and there's a lot of talk about drivers and the technology of drivers and all that. I'm good with Rory. Rory's won 4 times at Quail Hollow. He played terribly. The media was swirling on a couple of topics. Rory's also a guy last year who didn't want to meet the media once. Rory's genuinely pretty good at this. Rory's really good with the media. So, again, I'll dive into that more. I got a golf guest on tonight on the national show on Sirius XM, and maybe I'll replay that segment or that question coming up tomorrow on that. But it was all about Scottie Scheffler, and Scottie had to switch out his driver too. Maybe there is some fuzzy math going on with this golf equipment. Maybe there is. Maybe they got to check the drivers like they check bats. Every time there's a tournament, a player must start the tournament off by walking up to a machine right behind the first tee. They test their driver, and they say, you're good to go. The face of it and all that. I don't know, but Scottie Scheffler is unbelievable. No doubt about it, and we're excited about that. So I thought Scottie was great. I watched it. PGA doesn't float me as much as the Masters and the U.S. Open, but the Ryder Cup's coming up, and that's in my home course where I grew up, Bethpage Black. Stoner Dude, on a sad announcement that Vamps is coming to an end. Say it ain't so, Stoner Dude. What can we do to keep it open?
Yeah, man, I gotta tell you, JT. First of all, on the entertainment level, I know you talk a lot about music and rock and roll. And first of all, I'm envious of you of hanging out with Stevie Wonder, one of the great living legends, most talented dudes on the planet. Man, lucky you, and congratulations, of course, happy birthday to Mark Davis. Man, on Vamps, let me tell you, Counts Vamped, owned by the great Danny Coker, who is the star of the show Counting Cars, has owned the club Vamped for about 16 years and ran it. Him and his wife, Corey Coker, have been booking it and running it. And sadly, yeah, man, it's true. It's up for sale. $4.3 million. It's yours. You got the land, and I think 10% more they'll give you the brand. But I have so much thankfulness. I remember seeing you there, JT. We went and saw the band Zebra.
Yes,
one of our favorite bands. I've been playing there for going on 12 years now, at least once a month, sometimes 2 or 3 times a month. So you can see how much that place means to me and the local music community here in Las Vegas. A huge kick in the nads, man. I'm telling you, a punch in the gut when you lose such a great institution like that has a very strong family atmosphere. So congratulations to Danny Coker for your next moves. But yeah, man, just to not have Vamp to that great stage with those lights and that sound system, it's gonna. I don't know who's gonna replace that vibe, but I'm hoping somebody steps up and takes advantage of the opportunity of the void that we'll be missing here in Vegas. On the Raiders, real quick, JT. Man, you're talking about Jalen Ramsey, and I really think that the corner position, the great Al Davis would always say the most important position on that team is the corner. Shut down the pass. We got some young guys in there I like. Everyone's talking about Jalen Ramsey, and I don't know if he's got it left in the tank, but if Pete Carroll thinks he does, I have absolute faith and trust in this guy right now because I love all the moves they've been making. One more last thing, JT, is really looking forward to this movie, Madden, man, starring Nicolas Cage as John Madden, and I think even more to the point, Christian Bale as Al Davis. Really looking forward to see that. I don't know if you saw the movie Vice, but Christian Bale plays Dick Cheney, and it's amazing and incredible how he becomes this character. So to see him be Al Davis, really looking forward to that. Thanks for everything, JT. Have a great day tomorrow. We'll see you talk to you next time you're on the air.
You got it, Stoner Dude checking in. And Vamps, the rock club here, closing down or for sale. It's a great place to see rock and roll. Bobby's seen about 100 shows there, if not more. So that hits home. In regards to Christian Bale, I watched CBS Sunday Morning. DVR that show. It's great. They always do a great music profile on CBS this morning. That's why I DVR it, and I fast forward through it. But they did a story on Christian Bale. He's going to portray Al Davis in the Madden movie. And they released one photo Amazon did of what it looks like, and it's remarkable. So Christian Bale is up near Palmdale, north of L.A., and he's putting together, his name is on this foster home region that they're building for foster care kids to keep siblings together. And he talked about one of the worst things that could happen is when a family breaks up and then the siblings break up and one sibling goes to one foster care. So they built kind of like a mini town, and it's worth millions upon millions. And he was there talking about it. He's a brilliant actor. He's one of my favorite actors in all of his roles. Nicolas Cage is a legend. I've bumped into Nicolas Cage probably 20 times since I've lived in Vegas, from the old Hard Rock to Nobu at Caesars. You just see him at downtown Summerlin. I saw him walking one day. He's around town. This has been his primary residency along with New Orleans for a long time. And he's playing John Madden. And when they announced that, I didn't get it. I did not get that at all. Yeah. I thought Frank Caliendo would be better than Nicolas Cage. But then you saw Nicolas Cage put on the pounds, put on the weight, and then the way they have him dressed. And that movie should be fantastic. And I think we're going to movie night this week. The only movie we see as a family is Mission Impossible. We like to go. The kids like it. I like it. So I guess that movie comes out this week with Tom Cruise. He'll do anything now. Tom Cruise puts his life on the line now in every movie. He gets in helicopters and planes, jumps out into the water, putting his life on the line. This is not stunt double stuff. So I always think you have to pay to go see that. You have to pay to see Tom Cruise in the movies because those movies are really good. Wow, Bobby, we're up to a good start here. People have a pulse today. People are ready to roll. They know I had a long weekend. They know it was a great weekend, and we'd like to hear from everybody out there. I got good stories to tell about James Lofton, Max Crosby, Jackson Powers Johnson, who wore his cowboy hat to the gala. Saw Q Myers there, a bunch of members of the media, man, everybody in the media who was able to cover that. And last night, Paloma was out there, Kevin from Chris Matthews from 8 News Now, Brian Salmon from NBC. We had a big turnout there yesterday for Coaches vs. Cancer. And I'll say this later on in the show. I blocked the show into the monologue, and then we got a couple of interviews coming up. Whenever I'm out at a charity event and I share stories about it, it's for someone to make some donations and to at least say, man, I'd like to do that. Someone came up to me, my buddy Tom England, and he said, I'd like to play in the Bolitnikoff event next year. And I said, no problem. I'll direct you to Andrew Bolitnikoff, and he's going to buy a foursome and raise money for the Bolitnikoff. So whatever you can do to help out in the community, please go ahead and do that. And we're going to get ready. There is a big vote coming up at the NFL owners meetings that could change the way we seed the playoffs. Oh, here we go. They're touching my sports again. Yep. They're just touching my sports. Again. I'll get into that. They want to maybe get rid of the tush push because only one team can do it and everybody can't, so they're pissed. That's lame. Yeah. And the owners are expected to discuss the playoff reseeding proposal. Teams would be reseeded in the wild card round in the division playoffs based on record. Reseeded. That's interesting because it changes travel. So if you reseed the divisional playoffs, all of a sudden people that were thinking they were going to Kansas City, you got to go to, say, Baltimore. Houston or Baltimore or Vegas. That's interesting, but people get over that. Again, they don't care about you and your fandom and what you pay for airline tickets. They don't care. They're just out there trying to make more money, and Roger Goodell is pretty good at that. 702-365-9200. Want to thank Modelo. I had a Modelo party in my backyard with my parents when they left, and everybody saw my Modelo boombox and said, what is this? I go, I don't need a stereo. Stereos are obsolete. I got my Modelo boombox, which was rocking along with ice-cold Modelo beers, thanks to Modelo, the #1 beer in America. Oh, that was a nice, pleasant surprise monologue. Destroy the like button if you can, please. How we doing? How's the chat doing? The diehards that are in here. Remember, we got to get to 10,000 subscribers. We're almost at 7, so now we got to get to 10, and then we'll easily go to 20, 30. But everybody told me that fight to get to 10 would be hard, and it is because you got to get new people in here. We're all here. We know about it. We got to invite new people into this venue and get them here, and I appreciate all your help. All right, Bobby, what do you want? We got some basketball. We'll get to NBA playoffs. Man, the NBA can't be happy with Minnesota and Oklahoma City. I mean, I ain't going to move the needle. And then you get small market Indiana.
Man, I'll tell you something. They are rooting for the Knicks to get into the finals.
Yeah, they are.
Tomorrow. Indiana and Oklahoma City.
Yeah, that'd be rough.
Ooh. You got to work hard to sell that thing.
Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on. From our father to our family to the expert legal team at the Castleberry, we founded this firm for you. We're the Castleberry Bros, and we have your back.
Brotherswin.com. Did you know that a lab-grown diamond is just as real as an earth-grown diamond? The only difference is time. One took 1 billion years, the other not as long, and cost a lot less.
All right, let's do some radio. Little Stevie Wonder. Yeah, Stevie Wonder was pretty incredible. you know what you're going to get with Stevie Wonder, but he told stories, and Mark Davis knows a lot of people. He knows a ton of people. I don't know how well he goes back with Stevie Wonder, but they acted like they knew each other forever. He held Mark's hand, sang happy birthday to him, which is pretty cool. And Mark Davis donated $1 million of his own money to the Raider Foundation. $1 million. So for anybody who's accused or not accused or criticized Mark over the years, I don't know how you criticize a guy who's given $1 million for mental health. I don't know how you criticize our former president. I didn't vote for him, but our former president has serious cancer, prostate cancer, and we got assholes on social media criticizing a living president who's suffering physically. I don't give a crap what you think of him. Don't say a word. It's hard to criticize people who do great things or accomplished a lot just because they're celebrities. They go through problems like we all do. Oh, there comes my son. He's in there now, the baller. He's here to get the chat going, as he's going to get the StreamYard going tonight so we can do a little more of these shows. This is old sound or new sound? Oh, you had some new sound there on Jaylen Brown.
That's from Friday.
Yeah, you have it on.
I'm playing that stuff as we go.
Okay, good.
Yeah. The final call coming back with this.
Yeah, that's what I agree, Big D. You don't have to care for someone to pray for them if they're fighting cancer. I was at a cancer event last night. My point is, you just shut up and you don't comment at all. Yeah. Like, because he's the president of the United States and you don't like him, you got to go into a conversation. And when did he get cancer? How did he get? When did they know and we not know? Since when do we need to know anybody's medical update? I know you'll say, well, a politician is different. I disagree. Mind your own goddamn business is right, Bobby.
All right, next final call.
Did I give you a Canes or no? I did, yeah. Cane stuff. I got to record a whole bunch more for demo.
I gave it a script.
Good, thank you.
You want to do my cap to the show?
Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
With the shot clock turned off. If you want to knock off the champions, you have to play like champions. And the Knicks did that tonight. A 119-81 win. And the outcome that no one in the NBA saw coming, aside from the New York Knicks themselves.
That is Knicks radio on the call. Turn it up. I saw Stevie Wonder at the Raiders Gala. Listen to this rock and roll Hall of Famer. 1, 2.
Music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand. With an equal opportunity for all to sing, dance,
we're doing the radio show here.
All right. Well, Stevie Wonder. I could listen to that all day, Bobby. I don't know why you would be shaking your head with Stevie Wonder playing on the show here. We can't have Metallica and every day. We can't have Metallica. We can play something a little bit different there, yes. So let's get going. Knicks win. So there is a bit of a conspiracy going on with the media on that, and I'm a part of it because I'm a Knicks fan, and I'm very biased. I'm more biased on the Knicks than I am with the Yankees, the Raiders, and all that for various different reasons, but I've waited my whole life, when the Knicks won in 73, 8, 9 years old, at 7 years old, trying to get through life. I don't remember it. How about that? I remember a lot of things in life. I don't remember the Knicks winning a championship in 72, 73. I apologize. Too many brain cells from talking on the radio are gone. That won't go back. So I need the Knicks to win. I desperately need the Knicks to win. It's my life. It is my life as a sports fan. So we've got to win 8 more. And we're not playing against the Birds, Celtics, or the Magic Lakers here. We're playing against Indiana and Halliburton. All right, we're not talking about going up against the bad boy Pistons in 89-90 or our nemesis, Michael Jordan. You know how many times the Knicks were ready to win a title and had to play the Bulls in the Eastern Conference semis and push the Bulls harder than any team in the league? You know what no one talks about, and I'm rolling here. You know who Michael Jordan won 2 out of his 6 rings against? Greg Ostertag. Let that sink in for all you Jordan apologists. Jordan's the greatest of all time. I would agree. He's 6-0. Well, what happened all the years he didn't make it to the finals? Oh, he never lost in the finals. Oh, really? What about the more years he didn't make it to the finals? No one talks about that. LeBron goes to the finals and loses, and people say Jordan never lost. Well, there were years Jordan never got to the finals. And the Knicks were just as good as the Bulls. They were. I watched all the games. And Jordan would get by the Knicks and then win the title because he'd go up against Dan Marley or the Sonics, who were a good team, Greg Ostertag. I mean, come on. If Jordan had to go through Bird and Magic and those teams, would he have won 6 in a row? No chance. But you play the teams you play against. So my point is, on the Knicks advancing, the league needs the Knicks to advance, because this is a nightmare for the league. Can you imagine an NBA final with Indiana and Oklahoma City? Woo! I mean, I think the basketball nerds would like it. No one would watch it. No one would watch it. Literally no one would watch it. If you get the Knicks in, you're getting the number 1 media market that draws a massive rating, and it will save the NBA finals. Now, if you get Indiana versus, I'm thinking about Oklahoma City and how good they are and how fundamentally good. They've went through a lot of bumps already to get this far, to get there. But overall, Minnesota, I mean, Anthony Edwards is a star, but do you want to watch Rudy Gobert go up against Indiana for a best of 7? I don't. So the Knicks, there's going to be a lot of people come out of the woodwork saying, oh, the Knicks are getting help. Oh, they're letting the Knicks play more physical. They're calling. No, they're not. The Knicks have one good thing going for them. They're a highly emotional team. They're highly emotional, and they play really hard. And they miss threes, but aren't you happy now that we got this league out of this 3-point insanity that we were seeing from Boston and all of that? Aren't we happy that we're moving on from that? And again, I want to clarify this because, I said this at the end of the week. I'll say it again to our new audience. I am so happy that Jimmy Butler was eliminated from the playoffs. What a fraud. What a quitter he is. One of the biggest quitters of all time is Jimmy Butler, who quit on the Wolves, and he quit on a whole bunch of teams, including Miami. But the Warriors welcomed him in open arms because the Warriors are mercenaries, and they bring in Kevin Durant to win rings, and they bring in Jimmy Butler to win rings, which is okay. I'm a Yankee fan. We bring in Fried, he's going to win the Cy Young. I'm a mercenary too. But for all the Warrior fans who watched Bonds hit the ball into the water as he was knowingly cheating on performance-enhancing drugs, as their Gilroy garlic fries were dropping out of their mouth and they were drinking their Anchor steamers going, wow, Barry just hit it in the water. No, Barry's cheating. Barry's aggressively cheating. And now all the Warrior fans are like, we love playoff Jimmy. No, you don't. Playoff Jimmy didn't even make it to the conference finals. And Steve Kerr was kissing his ass. We're a different team with Jimmy Butler. Well, you should be. Jimmy quit on Miami. You accepted him, brought him into your fold, and he didn't make it to the finals. So I like the Warriors. I don't have a problem with the Warriors. If you know me, the Warriors are fun. But I'm happy Jimmy Butler was eliminated from the NBA playoffs, which is very important to me because I don't reward player entitlement. Okay? I don't reward players who are under contract and say, I no longer want to play for this team. I want to get out, and I have the power to get out of my deal. I don't reward that. But a lot of times fans, including myself, we're in the middle of it. We're in the middle of it at the time, and we want great things to happen. But that's not what I'm about. I have to do an honest show. And when I see quitters or cheaters, I make it clear. Sometimes they're on my team. I'll make it clear. But that's what I see with the NBA playoffs going forward here. And I think the playoffs need an infusion of my Knicks in New York City. Now, for teams that celebrate too much in advance, oh boy, the Knicks now are the Mount Rushmore of that. They win the game and they advance on Boston, who doesn't have Jason Tatum. They go out onto 7th Avenue and they need riot police to come in because the Knicks are celebrating like they won the title. I'm also not a fan of a team that gets to the wild card in baseball. How many wild card teams are there now, Bobby? 3? 4, 6. And then they make it to the wild card. They put on goggles and spray champagne. I don't believe in that either. I believe in champagne for championships. But it's tough to tell guys in their 20s that they can't guzzle beers and spray champagne when they're going to the playoffs to make more money. They're young kids who are ready to do that. Scottie Scheffler won the PGA Championship, kind of going away. John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau from Live Golf had a chance to win, but Scottie's just too good.
The king of golf conquers the Queen City at Quail Hollow. Scottie Scheffler is a PGA champion.
There's a lot of golfers, SiriusXM, PGA Tour Radio. There's a lot of golfers listening. I'm talking golfers who are listening to me now. You play golf. You have your golf clubs in your trunk. You're always looking to get better at golf. Watching this guy, he's not Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods in his prime was just brilliant to watch. But Scottie Scheffler, with the way he moves his feet on the tee box, I don't know how he hits it down the middle as his feet are shuffling around. He's one of the greatest iron players I've ever seen. When he's 160 to 190 out, he puts it right at the hole. I love flag hunters and guys who shoot at the flags, not at the greens. And Scheffler's one of the greatest I've ever seen. So he was able to come through in a big way there. And then also I wanted to mention Florida beating Toronto. It's Toronto since 2004 or 2, I'll double check, has lost 7 game 7s in a row. Okay, 57 years now for the Maple Leafs. You think you have it tough with your team? You don't have it as tough as Toronto.
And that's going to take us to the final seconds. The final seconds tick away, and the Panthers 6-1 winners in runaway fashion. Game 7 here in Toronto, and the Panthers win it by a 6-1 final score, and the Florida Panthers are heading to the Eastern Conference Final for a 3rd straight year.
Panthers right here on the call. Remember, the Panthers won last year. We went to war with them in the past, and they play in Sunrise, Florida. You know what must piss off Canada more than anything, other than some of our rhetoric? Because we want the Canadians to visit, man. I love Canada, man. I saw Rush 54 times, man. No one on the planet with the microphone could ever say that. Maybe Eddie Trunk. We got to find out if Eddie saw Rush 54 times. But Canada's upset with us. And I'd be more upset if I was Canada when we have a team in Sunrise, Florida, and Las Vegas, Nevada, winning Stanley Cups, and Toronto can't sniff one. If you're a Canadian, you got to be pretty upset with us, the United States of America, that we are putting hockey teams in the desert or in Florida that are winning multiple cups, like the Lightning. I mean, if you're in Canada and you're sitting in Saskatchewan and you're saying, wait a second, what is going on in the NHL? And all these players are from Canada, Bobby. All the players are from Canada. But when it comes to Montreal and Toronto, now you got Edmonton. I would like to know from a hockey fan is if does the whole country root for now Edmonton because Edmonton's still in it? I would think so. And I'm sure there are fans in Calgary that hate Edmonton. And I'm sure there's some other fans there, but I wonder how that's going to play out because Florida steamrolled the Leafs in that last game. And it leads us back. Now that you see Dallas and Edmonton, and we have those two teams playing, Vegas should have been one of those two teams. And we would have a month more of hockey. See T-Mobile, the Plaza? It's a ghost town.
Oh, yeah.
It's now a ghost town. I love the beer house, right? I was with my buddy Wags and everybody. Dale Eels were having beers before the game. Now there's no games. You get eliminated this late into the playoffs, you lose all of June, which would have been hockey town here in Vegas, and that drops out. And my Yankees taking 2 or 3 from the New York Mets. Bellinger, no one talks about this. Aaron Judge is 100 points better than Ohtani. 100. Okay? If Judge is batting 333 and Ohtani's batting 328, there's 100 points separating them. And Juan Soto goes to the Mets for $700 million, and Bellinger is having a better year.
Bellinger flies it into right field. Back it goes at the wall. Soto at the fence. Leaf. It's gone. Wow. What a night. What a night. A grand slam for Cody Bellinger. The Yankees have blown it open. It's an 8-2 Yankee lead.
That was an unbelievable ending to watch. So Yankee baseball. You know, Raider Nation Radio loves Raising Cane's. Get flavor fast at Raising Cane's from their hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers made with only premium chicken breast, the amazing crispy crinkle-cut fries. I love the buttery Texas toast and that secret cane sauce. That's made in restaurants every day. So good, are you hungry yet? Dive into Flavor Flav's faves. That's what I'm talking about. It's Cane's O'Clock, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, One Love, proud partner of our show as we continue on. Got a big announcement coming up next on what's going to happen in Vegas when it comes to college basketball. Coaches vs. Cancers in town. All these D1 coaches are in our town, which is a really big deal overall. We're excited about that. And then we'll talk to Albert Hall at the top of next hour on NBA Summer League, which I believe is one of the greatest values of tickets for anything in Las Vegas. For anything in Las Vegas, it's tremendous. Albert Hall at the top of the hour. Raider fans, you're quiet. We don't have a Super Bowl this Sunday. We don't have a game against the Broncos. We need you to kind of figure this out on your own. We're a flagship radio station. I'm going to talk about Jack Besh and what I think we've seen from him so far and the impact that he could have as a rookie coming up. Yep. I have his number to you. I'm going to text him quick. Hold on.
What's your name? Oh, hold on.
All right, man. I feel great. We had a friend over to our house after the Raiders gala, my buddy Johnny, who's a rock star, who owns Bill King's Super Bowl ring. He owns Bill King. He bought Bill King's Super Bowl ring. So he came over after the gala, and I got an area in my house that's open, and you could see the clouds and the stars. And the next thing you know, Bobby, we're drinking, partying, having some fun, and I look up, and the sun's out. And I tell my wife, I go, ooh, wait a second, the sun's up. And she was singing and having fun, and we were singing songs. And so we went to bed very late Saturday night as the sun was up, but I had a good time. Life's about good times.
For the record, I got no problem with Stevie Wonder, but we keep finding that stuff like that. They're going to fucking whack us on the
Oh, I mean, yeah, whatever. What whack us on royalty rights? Really? I don't know that. All right, good. If they're watching our music that closely at the royalty office, I'll pay the difference.
Actually, I think we've had
right. Okay. Okay. Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Every time we go, if I play 5 seconds of music, that's one thing. If I play 30 seconds, we get one.
Right. Caleb Williams. We're finding out that Caleb Williams might not have wanted to be a Chicago Bear.
Well, that's a shame.
Which is pretty incredible to me. All right. Charles says, can you help me? Want to come to Vegas for Niners Raiders in the preseason. Also want to go to the Scorpions. I don't know the dates yet because they don't announce the Niners dates yet. They don't. They just don't. So that's pending, but that'll come out. I saw that, Charles. I saw that Scorpion show. It was very good.
Good voicemail.
Okay, I'll text him. Yep. All right, text went out to him to call us.
Okay. This is going to be Jaylen Brown coming back.
Okay. Realist Raider. It's 145 for Motley.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm in New Jersey on hold.
Yeah, he's 145.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a text from one of my best friends who says the Warriors drive-by was unnecessary. Yeah, I did a little Warriors drive-by.
saying, though, is that the NFL seemingly always is trying to screw over the silver and black. And as soon as I went over to the Las Vegas Raiders had the
All right, here we go.
If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
Things didn't go our way this year, and it's unfortunate, but, we hold our head up regardless. Losing to the Knicks, feels like death. But I was always taught that there's life after death, so we'll get ready for whatever's next in the journey. I'll be ready for.
Jaylen Brown of the Celtics losing to the Knicks hurts that much. Well, we've lost to the Celtics, we Knicks fans, our entire life. More Stevie Wonder as he performed at the Raiders Gala. Sang this song. He was just fantastic. He is a living legend, and I just was blown away by it. Nice job by Silver and Black Productions and everybody on the scene to put that together. It was really cool. A lot of fun there. So what the Raiders do now, and everybody was there, the players that were there, a lot of the legends, Mike Haynes, James Lofton, Charles Woodson. I'll spend more time next hour. I talked to Charles about him becoming a minority. He's got a small piece of the Cleveland Browns. I was asking him about how does that work with Woodson Bourbon Whiskey and all that, what he shared with me off the air. I will not put on the air, but Charles is all good. Loves the Raiders. He was there. Seeing Mike Haynes and Eric Allen, EA. And this is our summer. Our summer is the countdown to Eric Allen getting inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's my next big thing, other than I'll be in Chicago a week from this Friday for Mike Ditka's Gridiron Greats as we induct a new class. And I'm excited about that. Mitch in New Jersey. Mitch, thanks for waiting. You're up next. Go ahead, Mitch.
JT, how you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
Unlike when football, there's no cap in baseball. It's kind of like wink, wink.
Yeah.
I know this does sound greedy. I'm not really worried, but I think the Dodgers. I don't think Toronto's going to be able to keep Bichetti. They just signed Gardner 14 years, so he better play 14 years. I'd love to see him trade for Bichetti, put him at short up there, because the bottom half of the lineup is kind of weak.
For the Dodgers? The Dodgers?
Yeah, the Dodgers.
The Dodgers got everything they need. I don't want to get more players to the Dodgers in the bottom half. The bottom half of your lineup, you got the largest payroll in the history of baseball, and you want more? The Pirates need players. The Brewers need players, and you want more? This Dodger team, Mitch, is supposed to win before the season started in April because you bought half of baseball.
But they're getting hurt. You see the injuries, especially with the pitching?
Injury's part of it.
They just released all right.
Okay.
You're right, but I just think Bichetti is going to be a good player.
All right. Yeah, great. All right. But I'm not here to look at your trades for the Dodgers. The Dodgers got swept by Anaheim, didn't they? Let's check in on the Dodgers phone lines to see how many Dodger fans we have on hold.
That would be 0.
Yeah, that would be 0. Dodgers are turning out to be an interesting fan base now. They'll call you when Ohtani hits a home run, but when they get swept by the Angels, I'm out on a desert island with no water. I can't buy a Dodger phone call. And Ohtani, until Ohtani, this will be a great promo, Bobby. I just thought of it in 3, 2, and 1. Until Shohei Ohtani throws another pitch, it could be one pitch. It could start off the game. It could be in the 5th inning. Until Ohtani throws a pitch, he is not the best player in baseball. A 4-year-old can figure that out. It's Aaron Judge. They're not even close. Okay? So until Ohtani grabs his glove and goes out to the field or throws a pitch again, enough of this fake news that Ohtani's the best player in baseball. If he pitches, it's over. He's the best. If he pitches, there's no doubt he's the best player in baseball. But baseball is a sport built on stats. And the stats prove he is not the best player in baseball. If he pitches, he is, and he doesn't pitch. And he might never pitch again, because if he does pitch, he can get injured. And I know a pitching injury is different than hitting, but if you can't pitch because your arm hurts, how do you hit? I don't know. I played Little League. I played pretty competitive up until high school. If you hurt yourself, you didn't bat or pitch. So the Dodger fans are in love with Ohtani. I mean, how can someone ask this to Harry Ruiz tomorrow? Because he often listens to the show, and he'll be here hosting tomorrow. How many bobblehead nights can they have for Ohtani? I mean, the place is already sold out. How many times you want people to stand? You don't want Harry to have to go to Chavez Ravine because there's another bobblehead there. Because Harry's got a lot going on. He's one of the most connected people in media. How many more bobblehead nights are we going to have for Ohtani, Bobby? I know you got a lot of bobbleheads, but you have Kiss bobbleheads and Rockstar bobbleheads and some baseball.
Yeah.
But you got a lot of rock and roll bobbleheads.
Oh, yeah, kind of, sort of.
Would you wait in line 6 hours for an Ohtani bobblehead?
Hell no.
4 hours?
No, I wouldn't wait in line 20 minutes. I can get somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
Or I can let the guy go do what he's going to do.
You know how much
grab it, and then I'll just buy it off eBay after.
Do you understand?
I really wanted one that bad.
Do you understand how expensive it is to make a bobblehead?
Yeah, it's about $5.
No, much cheaper.
Oh, okay.
It's
there
like
you go.
it's like 50 cents to make the bobblehead. The box adds about another 2 or 3.
So I thought it was like more high quality.
Look, I got kids. My house is full of bobbleheads. It's just a question of will you wait online for 6 hours to get a bobblehead?
Me, hell no.
Yeah, well, kids. And if you're going to wait in line to get a bobblehead for your kids, I'm not talking to you. You're great. You want to wait 6 hours for your child to get a bobblehead. That's great.
But then again, I'm also the same guy that stood in back of the garden for 6 hours for Jay Giles tickets.
Yeah, but if you're a 53-year-old male and you're sitting at the back of the parking lot at Chavez Ravine for one bobblehead that costs about less than $2 to manufacture, I'm a little bit concerned with that person, unless he's giving it to his kids, and then it's all bets are off.
Yeah, and 9 times out of 10, they're just putting them on eBay anyway.
No, but they said the other day that he hit a home run on his bobblehead night or 2, and I'm like, wait a second, he just had a bobblehead night.
I thought he did.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, just so you know, I looked it up. They're on a 3-game losing streak, so they must have got swept by the Angels.
They got swept by the Angels. I think they called that the Freeway Series.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
The Subway Series.
The A's and the Giants. I wasn't paying attention much to that as I was busy. The Yankees took 2 out of 3 from the Mets. And then they had to drum up this fake rivalry weekend in baseball, like the Phillies and the Pirates have a rivalry.
The Red Sox and the Braves, really?
Yeah, that was interesting too.
It's not what I call a rivalry.
Well, the rivalry would be Yankees there, but the Mets were there for that.
To an extent too, but.
Hey, for those who are watching on our YouTube channel, I have these Astrum headsets. Unbelievable. I have the earbuds when I go listen to podcasts. If you go to astrumtech.com, that's ASTRUM tech.com, you can get the same headphones that I'm wearing, that DJs are wearing, performing artists are wearing, and get 20% off. I think it's a great deal. And I would go out there and I would go get them. astrumtech.com. Put in JT into the box on the way out, and you'll get 20% off. And I think it'll make a really, really good impact on your ears, your eardrums, and the way you listen to music or podcast or what else you're doing there. Yeah, the Bricktator bobblehead. Can someone make they call me that on the YouTube, the Bricktator, because I have rules. I have rules on my channel. But yes, someone make the Bricktator bobblehead, and I will buy it and I will auction it off. Got a busy hour, a couple of interviews coming up. Albert Hall from Hall Pass Media on NBA Summer League tickets. Jeff Motley will join us at the end of the next hour on the big basketball announcement in town. Hour number 1, we say goodbye to the Bricklayers. We'll move to radio only and on the Raiders mobile app on their flagship station. Thank you. When I knock out a couple of interviews, I give you guys a break to let you do more. Appreciate it. We had a great, vibrant audience today. Hit the like button on the way out. I think I'm going to fire up the machine tonight. I got a new podcast coming. What's that? I got Sirius tonight. Yep, Sirius XM tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Please tune in.